Hi everyone, Rachel here from North Brisbane Psychologists, and it's a Monday evening and my house is so quiet at the minute. I thought this would be a good time to make a video. My husband's out, even the cat is asleep on the front doormat. Hopefully I won't get interrupted. So today I wanted to talk about a topic which we posted about on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and it was a very popular post in terms of comments, and so I thought, well, probably this is a very hot topic for a lot of people, certainly a fraught topic, and the topic is fractured relationships between parents and their adult children. And what I'm going to say in this video could equally apply to fractured relationships between other family members. But it certainly seems that perhaps the most painful situation for a lot of people, and I'm thinking of some of my clients, is when they have needed to estrange themselves from their parents, one or both parents, or when parents, a couple of examples of clients that I'm working with who've had to make the heartbreaking decision to cut off contact with an adult child. So why on earth would anybody do this? I think the Facebook post said something like, nobody wants to lose a connection with their parents. Everybody wants to love their parents. So if you meet somebody who's estranged from their parents, don't judge. It was probably an agonizing decision for them. And in my experience, that's true. The parents who raised you, who fed you, who took you to the school recitals, who, did all the things for you, it's hard to imagine why you would want to cut them out of your life. Every parent makes mistakes. I'm a parent. I've made mistakes. All of our parents made mistakes. But if it comes to a point where a person is seriously considering cutting off a relationship with their parents or with an adult child, you better believe it was a tough decision, a painful lead up to that decision. So why might this happen? So let me start with some common reasons why people stop talking to their parents. So one common reason is that that parent has repeatedly disrespected, even abused in some cases, I can think of a couple of cases, their adult child's spouse. So, the golden rule is, you let your adult child run and manage his or her own life. And you may or may not, really enjoy their spouse's company, but that's their choice. They're an adult. But the conflicts that can occur between parents and their children's spouse can become very heated at times. And I've had clients who've decided to cut off relationships with parents because of their constant criticism, even abusive behavior towards their spouse. So that's one reason. Another reason is there's been a lot of hurt, a lot of damage, and the adult child has asked for some acknowledgement from the parent in the form of some recognition of what's happened or an apology, and the parent won't apologize. So that's another common reason that's very painful. Just a simple "I'm sorry, please forgive me" can be enough to start to mend the relationship. But if people don't have enough humility and shame resilience, they can't bring themselves to acknowledge the other person's pain and apologize. Some of my clients tell me they were gaslighted by thinking of one woman whose mother gaslighted her, who told her she was imagining it and she was being too sensitive, and that she was wrong and that she was remembering everything wrong. And that's gaslighting, when you make someone completely doubt their own experiences. And my client was willing to say, this is just my perception, it's just my interpretation, but this is how I feel. And the mother basically said, well, you shouldn't feel that way. She ended up needing to sever ties with her mother, which you better believe is heartbreaking and a very difficult decision. Sometimes overbearing or undermining grandparenting can cause very fractured relationships. So I've had clients where either the mother or mother-in-law, sometimes the father, can be so opinionated and so overbearing even to the point of undermining their parenting decisions by telling the grandchildren things contrary to the parent. A sort of different form of gaslighting. So that's another reason, that relationships can become very broken between parents and their adult children. And the final reason that I had here, actually there's two final reasons, playing favourites among siblings. I remember one client where the mother very much favoured the brother because he'd been more academically successful in his life and was very critical of my client. And that, among other issues, actually the next one as well, meant that he had very little to do with her, sadly. The final issue, and this client also had it, was ignoring boundaries. So prying, interrogating, insisting on coming over, or I think it was being present at the birth of his first child, demanding behaviours and being overly critical of people's houses and haircuts and job and baby name choices, and that crosses boundaries and is quite hurtful. So that can really damage the relationship, and certainly it can be another cut, if you like. So what else did I want to tell you about this topic? Look, all I can say is that it's heartbreaking. There's a lot of grieving involved in cutting off ties with a family member, especially a parent. I have another client, so to kind of reverse the roles here, who's had to make the heartbreaking decision to cut off contact with her adult son, who's in his late 20s, because his behaviour is manipulative and completely lacking in empathy. It's abusive. He's addicted to drugs. He lies. He calls up every week for money. And for years she has enabled his behaviour because she's been worried about him. And so it's understandable when mothers keep giving money and keep helping their adult children who keep getting into trouble. But in the end, we've worked for a while and decided together, I support her decision to ask him not to contact her for any reason. Again, she needs to maybe let him fail, let him fall, because he's not learning any other way. And it's such a heartbreaking decision for a mother, and she's cried many tears over this decision, but she knows that it's not punishing her. It's actually her looking after herself, setting these boundaries. And he has a way to contact her indirectly if there's a genuine emergency. And so far he hasn't used that way now that he's lost his direct communication with her. So it's very rare for a parent to cut off contact with a child, but it does happen. And that's an example of that. So if you've struggled with this issue, let us know in the comments below. I hope that clarifies some of the reasons. I know in that Facebook post some people were giving stories of cutting off contact with their parents and parents cutting off contact with them. And indeed our parents are only human. Some parents are very flawed and very unaware humans, and so that's painful if you have had parents who've cut you off, or if you've had to cut them off, and my sympathy goes out to you in spades. So we help clients with this issue from time to time, so we're used to dealing with it if you need to come see someone and get some more help. But let us know in the comments below if you've had experiences with this, or if any of this information has been helpful. And until next time, take care. Bye for now.